out on liquidating their assets. So I tried to do a hangout a few minutes ago and I ended up having to delete it because it was choppy and I was trying to do a screen share and it was actually like showing different screens like to infinity. It was really crazy. So maybe this is just something I don't understand about Google Hangouts, or maybe there's something wrong with my computer or my Wi-Fi. I don't know. But anyway, so we're going to be talking about commercial liens and how to recover when you're cheated, basically. And this time I'm not going to try to do a screen share because this is, I don't know. I have some documents I want to show you, and I guess I just cannot do that. Maybe if you're listening in and you can open another tab and look up a UCC1 file, and maybe like as a picture or document to download. And from state to state, there's very little difference, if any at all. It's a pretty standard thing. It's kind of a federal form, really. So if you will look at a UCC1, and like I said, I'm sorry I can't open that and show it to you, and I'm trying to figure out if I can do that on that showcase thing, so that way we don't have a really bad what do you call it, like a connection, or have it choppy and all that again. So I'm wondering, what is that? That's a chat setting, Q&A, and control room. I don't know if that'll do anything. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just talk. So the basic idea of doing a commercial lien against somebody is all things operate on the foundation of commerce. Everything that we do in life, or every situation we go through, even religion, believe it or not, is founded on commerce. Now, I know religion came before the concept of commerce, maybe, but it's even in the Bible about commerce and things like that. I'm not going to get too deep into that because that could be very controversial, and that I'm just not going to get into the whole religion thing. But anyway, it is there in scriptures, and it is basically, commerce is kind of founded on the Bible too. So they kind of feed off each other, if that made any sense at all. But it's there, it is, and that's that. So anyway, everything that we do in life is founded on commerce. When what we have to do is state our claim, and usually we do that through like deeds or titles, or some kind of contract, handshake, and verbal promises, whatnot. And so sometimes in life we just run into people that are either not very honest, or something comes up and they cannot perform the way they've promised, and so then the ownership needs to be challenged, or the debt needs to be paid, and there's the opportunity to take back, or take ownership of things that they own if they cannot perform the way they are contracted, and that can be a verbal contract as well, but if they've not contracted in the way that they have stated they would. And so that's the basic idea of America and capitalism. So everything it's always all about the money. That's just the way it is here. So what do we do? So say you have somebody who has really wronged you, and you really want to get back something that they have maybe taken from you, or in a business dealing where you've been cheated, or they just did not perform right. there's a process. It's not an overnight thing. It is a process, and you have to perfect that process to get to the place where you can file um, a lien against somebody. But once you do, you have absolutely locked them down in commerce. They cannot sell their assets. They cannot buy new assets. They cannot trade anything in. They cannot get anything on credit. It absolutely locks that person down. So if they're already at a place where they're struggling in life, it totally just shuts that person down, period. And if they're people that have money, and that's that happens too, where you just have people that just don't perform because they're maybe bad people, or had no intention of being a person of their word, then you can go after them as well and kind of pull their business or their personal credit scores down, and you can still put a dent in their in, we have to cure, we have to get to a place where we have cured our right to even place the lien. So there are things that we do. You know, Basically, it runs on affidavit, and when somebody doesn't step up and say, no, that doesn't sound right, and they don't answer it in writing, then you can move on to the next level. And there's a few steps in between there. And I should mention too, this is not designed to be legal advice. This is really just kind of a blanket um, concept of how to lien somebody. And so if you want to know more, you'll have to do your own due diligence and study, or you can hire an attorney. But you can really do some damage with this, and so you have to be very careful with it. So just so this is not supposed to be construed as legal advice. So you'll have to, do your own due diligence on that. So when we get to a place where we have cured our right, and that's the part you're going to have to look up, but you'll cure your right to even do a lien. Now we're going to move to what is called the UCC-1 form. And this is a form that is filled out. It's just very basic, actually. And it is, it has the debtors, which are the people that have not performed as they were contracted to do. And then you have the secured party, which is you. And so your filing will have those two elements in there. Now, there's an opportunity on the UCC-1 to place two debtors on there. You can actually get another form and do additional debtors. This would only be two, like maybe married people or business partners, or just two people that are affiliated with that particular scenario. So if you had, two different things going on, and one's about maybe one transaction, and another one's about another transaction that just totally has nothing to do with each other or the people or anything, then you would have to do two separate filings. Other than that, if they're two people that are, working together, you would do them both as the same, on the same filing, excuse me. And a filing typically costs around, usually an average is about $30 to $40 on average. Some states are a little cheaper. I think some will do them for, $15, $20. Some will do them for about $30 to $35. I've seen up to $38. I've not seen anything higher as far as, in a Register of Deeds office. So what happens is when you do the UCC-1, like I said, it's very basic form. It's not really complicated at all. However, when you get down to the, I'm actually going to pull one up that I can look at. I'm not even going to try to share this, because if I do, it's going to mess up our Hangout, and then I'll have to delete it and start all over again. But if you look at the UCC-1, if you were able to open one and look at it, when you get down to name property. So if you're putting a lien on somebody's house or their physical building for business, or a piece of land, you have to be very specific. So in the collateral, if I wanted to put a lien against your house, I could put your address, but then I would have to further go on to say, this means you have to pull a property record. I would have to further go on to give the full legal property description as per your deed. It's very easy to pull this at the Register of Deeds office. It's public information, public knowledge. So you would get that legal description from the deed, which would be like a book and page number, plat number, whatever. You'd get all this information, as much as you can, in that collateral section. And you can even list cars here. However, here's the big disclaimer with cars, boats, and RVs and trailers and whatever. When you're doing anything that is like that would have to be tagged through DMV, you would list your collateral, which means you would list say it's a car. You would do the year, make, and model. If you could, you would get the VIN number. This is not always easy to get. Sometimes you have to get right up at that car to get that VIN number, or maybe you can find a document that would have that VIN number somewhere else. But if you cannot get the VIN number, that's probably not the end of the world. I do know in the state of North Carolina, and I believe in the state of Tennessee, you do have to get a DMV form. And I want to say it is, I'm going to look it up while I'm talking, but I think it's a form, a DMV form 6, a North Carolina DMV. Just look forms in general, because if that's not right, then I want to kind of give you the idea of what I'm talking about. So what you would do while that's searching, I'll keep talking. So what you would do is put all your information in that UCC collateral area. If you need to do a DMV form, you have to do that. I'm not sure if there's a charge for that. I want to say there was a small charge in North Carolina, but I could be wrong. And then let's see, it takes a little while to put a lien on a vehicle. It's not something that you can do, overnight. So that, you have to wait until they send you back a copy of the title, or, some other, I'm not sure exactly what they send you. I don't remember. It's been so long. Notice of lien. Okay, title application. I'm just going to see if it'll let me just type in the search here. Well, at any rate, I'll just try to do that while I'm talking, but this is a little bit difficult. And so, at any rate, you'll just do this this form. You'll get that mailed in and pay whatever fee it is, and then you'll have a lien on a motor vehicle. Like I said, that can take a little while, so I think it's up to 45 days. So if you think somebody's getting ready to trade in a car like next week and you want to get a lien on it, it's probably not going to happen in time. So, just a little heads up there. So, okay, so we're going back to the UCC one. So once you get this filed, actually, let me pull this up, because I think there was something else I wanted to talk about on here. Okay, so after you get past the collateral section, okay. So it could be, you could do a agricultural lien, non-UCC filing, debtor is a transmitting utility, lessee or lessor, consignee, consigner, seller, buyer, bailee, bailer, and licensee and licensor. And I will let you do your due diligence and see which one of those that would actually be. Since I cannot do this on screen and actually type one up, I guess I cannot really. I cannot do that because this computer was acting so funky. And there's, if you go print out your UCC1 financing statement, there's actually going to be a page 2, or you could use that, you could flip it when you're printing it and put that on the back if you wanted. But the page 2 actually has the different designations and whatnot as to, what it kind of gives you a very broad definition of each of those types of options to check. So you have to be specific though, and you can't mess this up, or you could, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble for filing a bad document. So I'm trying to think what else. Now let me pull up a UCC3, and that's going to be an amendment. Let's see. And that one is if you need to make any kind of changes, or if you want to terminate a lien, or if you're actually, if you want to assign a lien. So once you're a lien holder, you do have an asset. You have an asset that you can give to somebody else, and they can go and collect on it instead. You can sell your assets, or for some kind of monetary or trade value. So again, once you assign that, you can turn around and use that. That's your. Then it's no longer your lien; it's somebody else's. But you could, there's just a lot of options. It's an asset. So once you are trying to take possession of somebody's property, it is an asset for you. Let's see. In the UCC 11, let's pull that guy up. And the UCC 11 is where you could do a search. So if you wanted to see if somebody had other UCCs filed on them, you could do a search, and you would do that with here in North Carolina, it'd be the Register of Deeds officer. You could do it with the Secretary of State. So there's a couple options there. So and I am not sure on how much that one is to do, but it's probably going to be pretty close or the same in price as the 1 and the 3. I know if you do it with the Secretary of State, it costs a little bit more last time I checked. And I actually don't remember if that was in North Carolina or Tennessee or South Carolina. So I'm going to kind of go over something here. So let me scroll up here because I don't want to jump right in the middle of something because then it won't make any sense. So commercial law and the Uniform Commercial Code, sorry. When we're talking about these, let's see. You would want to get the person in dishonor. That's all that requires. So you let somebody know, hey, you did this, you did that, you owe me money. And, if they decide to Chapter 11 that, just throw that in a trash can, ball it up, whatever, and never answer, then after, I want to say it's 30 days of not answering, then it is considered unrebutted. And so an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth. So, in other words, it gets down to mano y mano. We're going to get face to face. We're going to talk about this. not really face to face, but document to person. And so we're getting down to brass tacks, and we're saying, okay, you owe me this, and you did number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what you did, or this is how I came to the conclusion that you owe me X amount of dollars. You're going to do this as an affidavit, and an affidavit really should be notarized. In everything that we do to avoid going to court, we would do this as a notary protest, basically. So you get a notary to do a certificate of dishonor, and let's see. Oh my goodness! And then once you get your person to or your affidavit is unrebutted, so you've got your person in dishonor. Once they are in dishonor, now you can file your there's something I'm missing. Let's see. The UCC is the code that regulates all negotiable instruments. It used to actually be called the law merchant and the negotiable instrument law, but not anymore. The UCC has been grossly abused by many people, to include like the IRS and government agencies. But basically, if you understand the UCC, you can really make things happen in commerce for yourself, and you can really do damage to people that had intentions to do damage to you. So, with that being said, the essential elements of commercial law are based on the good faith action, clean hands doctrine, fair business practices, full disclosure, duty of care, just compensation, equal protection of the law, mercy, and grace. Which I know is kind of bordering religion. We weren't going to go there, but it is what it is. Okay, so, and under the laws of commerce, truth is sovereign. So, when an affidavit is unrebutted, it is considered to be, whatever is contained within is considered to be truth. And you can't go back later and try to rebut something that you had a duty to speak up once it was brought to your attention. You can't wait until after those 30 days and then say, oh, I know it's been 6 years, but I'm not guilty and I didn't do this and you can't do it. So at any rate, so that's pretty much how it works. Okay, let me see if there's anything. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, a valid affidavit is going to need to identify who the affiant is, and the affiant is the one who is making the original affidavit, or making that affidavit. They have to identify who the notary is who's doing their notary protest, and all statements made must be based on personal knowledge, and any statements made that are false are subject to penalty and perjury within the jurisdiction of a court that would try the case. So, now I've said that not every situation has to go through a court situation. In other words, you don't have to sue people every time they cheat you or make you mad. You don't have to do that. But if you're not going to do that, you have to make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's and do it right. If you don't know what you're doing, then you either need to read up on that or get somebody else to do it for you, or just file a lawsuit. Let's see. An affidavit cannot and should not make legal arguments. They should stick just to facts and avoid law as much as possible. And then let's see, all rights are reserved without prejudice. So, let's see. And the notary certificate of default is very effective. So let's see. So they can't turn around. If you do the notary protest process, they can't really turn around and sue you because you've officially used a official way of documenting everything that you're doing. And of course, you're probably going to be sending everything, usually certified mail or some other way of tracking. So if you're going to be doing a lot of liens or mailings, it's probably a really good idea to get a book from the post office where you track all your official mail. So let's see. Let me make sure there's nothing else I'm missing. And if you, since I can't really open the screen to show you the pictures without the computer going crazy here, you can always send me an email at, let's see, we'll do trooper753@yahoo.com. And you can send me an email and I can upload the forms, but you could actually just Google it. It'd be so much faster. You can Google it and download the forms and kind of look at it, and see what I'm talking about. So let's see. FTP. Let's see here. Okay. Yes, and we want to make sure that we have proof of claim. And the proof of claim is the document signed under penalty of perjury and is notarized and presented. If you sign under the penalty of perjury, it means that they swear that their presentment is true, correct, and complete. So if you do your affidavit and you are putting your claim in there, having it notarized, and you're signing it under the penalty of perjury, it does make your document much stronger. So once you do that UCC and get that filed, you can add treble damages, which really means triple damages, and interest and legal fees. So all of the the money that you put into your filings and all that can be added in there, and your treble damages. And then what happens is you can you don't have to send them anything else anymore. You don't even have to send them a copy of the UCC. I don't believe I've ever done that. But once you do that UCC, you can just kind of let that sit and roast for a while, and then you can come in and do you can the amount, of course, and the bankruptcy laws have changed so much over the years. I'm not even sure what that amount is, but I think if you're liening like a house or something of significant value, you can put somebody in involuntary bankruptcy, liquidate their assets, take what's yours, cut them a check for whatever's left over. Maybe they'll get $1 or $2, and you can send them to the soup kitchen and let them figure out how to rebuild their lives. It is kind of a bitch move, but it's that's the way America is. So if you don't like it, welcome to America. If you don't really like it, then you're welcome to leave. So that's capitalism at its finest. The interesting part of it is that a lot of people don't know it or understand it, except for government entities and officials. And so, learn your rights, learn how to make things happen for you, learn how to seize assets, and then you can operate much better in commerce. And then when you have UCCs filed, with you as the secured party, now you can do a lot more in commerce. So now you have assets to use, that you can build your own life on. So, for the people that are out there that like to take advantage of others or steal from them or anything else, there's your remedy. So, I have my own people that, I have to do my remedies on. And, I would encourage anybody that has to do some remedies, you do yours. And, maybe in time, capitalism will no longer be a thing. I don't know. But that's the way our country's built. And, maybe people will stop acting badly in different um, business transactions, or, they'll just quit messing each other over. So, it's just some ideas. And if you follow my channel on YouTube, I'll be doing a series of videos and or hangouts that'll turn into videos, and we'll talk more about some more commercial remedies. This is just kind of a blanket idea. This is something I used to teach an awful lot of classes about and do a lot of, and I guess I'm going to go back to that. So, and anybody who wants to support my channel to keep good content coming, and keep it coming, uh, keep it coming for free, make your donation. That would be amazing. And let's learn how to kind of take our lives back and make things happen. So that's about really all I have for today for this segment. And I'm going to do some more probably during this week, and we'll make it happen. I'll get some really cool ideas. So follow me, and you will see exactly what's getting ready to come up through my YouTube channel, Google Plus, Facebook. If you know me on Facebook, although I'm not really taking any new friends on Facebook, and then I'll get some really interesting stuff out, because once I get rocking and rolling, it'll turn you on your head and make your head spin. So that's how I roll. So yeah, I'll see you in the future.